So I've got the privilege of being joined by Mr. Nik Gittus from Wallsend Boxing Academy. For those of you who want a bit of background on who Nik is, he's the head coach of Joe Laws, Lawrence Oswicki, April Hunter, Rob Ismay, Jeff Saunders.
Yeah, Jeff. There's Tommy Hodgson as well, who's just started as well, who's just come from the GB setup. So he's another one to add to the collection, I suppose.
Yeah, it's been quite an exciting year for you as well for see how much it's grown. Considering up until about 2 years ago, you were just pushing through, just getting pro boxers as and when, but now you seem to be the kind of go-to guy for quite a few people, don't you?
Well, it's nice words, but I probably wouldn't say that. I think it's I don't know. I've missed someone off as well. We've got Jamie Bates, who's like sort of back and forward from the pro to the pro kickboxing as well. As just had a good win in the glory stage. With regards to coaching, I don't know really. I tend to like get on quite well with my lot. I think it might be the fact is like I'm not too many years older than them. Do you know what I mean? It's like because there is a lot of coaches out there who are quite old. They've got the experience. They've got the accolades behind them. But obviously, them started where I was as well. Like I say, I like to think I'm pretty young. 35-year-old, just turned. I had like an amateur experience when I started when I was 9. I had my last fight when I was 27. I won junior ABA titles and boxed for junior England, senior England. Went to multi-nations tournaments as a senior and stuff like that. So I think, like I say, I got fed up with training really. If you could spar, do the pads, and then fight, I would still be fighting now. But you've got to do everything else. I've hated running, absolutely detested running. All the other coaches who, if you speak to them, they'll tell you straight off. I was always at the back. Hated like the circuits. I got too bored with bag work. Footwork drills I loved, which I still do now with my lot. It's hard to put a thing why people have come to me and joined us. It's hard to say. You almost come across as like big-headed sort of thing. Like, oh, I do this, he does that, I do this. It's not like that. It's just like I say, I want to be known as one of the best. I'm not in it for fame, fortune, whatever. I just want to be known as one of the best, like the Adam Booths and Shane McGuigan's and stuff like that. Like an actual go-to guy. So when you've got someone from the GB setup saying, all right, I want to turn pro, who am I going to go with? I need to go with him. That's the kind of accolade that I'm searching for, and that's what I'm working towards every day.
I think the observations I've sort of made in the past, and what I've kind of when I've talked to guys like Joe and Lawrence, they've agreed with me that it's how calm you can approach things with them. There's almost like a kind of and maybe this is because you've still got quite a fresh relation to your amateur background and training yourself. But you demand a lot from your boxers, but you're not one of these old school coaches who kind of shouts and balls, and you do leave a lot up to the boxers to be able to do themselves. And if they don't do it, they're their own worst enemy. And I think they respect you for that, because you're not pushing them beyond the limit. You're making them the best that they can possibly be, but you're leaving a lot of it up to them as well, in terms of, right, I'm giving you the tools that you need to succeed. If you don't, I want to hear what your excuse is, because you can't be held responsible. Would you say that was fair?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of like boxing, the way I see it is like a boxing coach. Yeah, there's pad men out there, and there's like the body, like the body bag holders and all the rest of it. But I'm a coach. I like to teach, and I like to try and bring people on, and I like to add to their game, make them better at what they do, and then also give them a backup plan. With regards to being like a little bit relaxed, it was like one of my old coaches used to say, "Any more laid back, and I'll be lying down." I think I was actually Davey Binns, to be fair. It was another great coach in the area. It's like Dave. You could ask Dave. I could ring up Dave now tomorrow, and and ask him me advice on something, and he'd give his perfect. Another guy who's out there who's been there for me from day one, really, Matty Jobs, from Jobs' gym. He's got a massive talent in Mark Taylor. So like I say, he's been there from day one. It's kind of like I say, I'm a coach. I'm not a fitness coach. Do you know what I mean? I'm not here to get you fit. I'm here to try and make you better and add more tools to what you already do. I mean, like I said, Joe was. Everyone knows what Joe does. Joe's good at like getting in there and having a tear up and grinding out the gears and getting the wins and putting a massive amount of pressure on people where they fold. Now, when I first started training Joe, I was like, right, he's good at that. How can we make him better at that? It was like adding a little bit of composure to his game, adding to the footwork, because sometimes when he was going in and rushing in, his feet were all over the place. So adding to them. Now I think like I always had a few goals, and every time I get with a new boxer, I have the first session, and it's kind of like I'm a good judge, good reader character, a good judge of character of like what they need. It's like I think that was one of my major tools when I was fighting. It was like I was able to read someone and read what they do within the first half of a round, so I could take over. So that's why you probably, if you ever watched any of my fights, it'd be like boring for the first round, and then the second round up it, and then the third round up it, and then obviously back in the days when it was 4-2s, then it was only in the fourth round where I sort of come to light. So with Joe, I had 3 things written down. It was like add composure, sort his footwork out, and then obviously the third one is make him more. I suppose it comes into the composure as well, but patient. Like choose what he's going to do instead of just rushing in. I think everyone's like, even now still people say, oh, I get creased on when I watch it in the corner against Joe in the first round when he boxed that Justice Addy. Like obviously going at him. That's what I was trying to get out of him, and I think yes, the opponent wasn't that great on the last MTK show for him. However, the Joe of last year would have probably bowled him out within 30 seconds.
Yeah.
They sort of picked him apart, used his jab, which we haven't seen a lot of. Straight hand instead of over the top all the time, big chip shot ones that he throws, and then obviously sitting down in the body shots, because I think he's a massive body puncher when he throws them. He just doesn't throw them enough. So like I say, that was 3 things that I had set out for Joe. So it's just like taking, not like saying, right, we're going to do this today, It's like I spend hours and hours away from the gym of studying fighters in their category. So I'm up to like 2-3 o'clock in the morning and got bags and bags of like paper, like what I've been writing on, and saying like, we might aim for him. This is what you've done wrong. This is what we need to work on more, or this is what you've done right. However, you could have made that better by doing this move if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So obviously, like I say, I've done the same with April, and April like wants to be where she wants to be yesterday. And I keep like having to slow her down and say, look, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. You'll get there. It's just so happens you'll get there quicker than obviously like the male fighters, because there's not much about. Do you know what I mean? It's like the talent pool is not as big.
Yeah.
With her, and I said to her, I said, Sharon, what do you do then? I said, obviously I told her what I did, like away from the gym. And then I said, every time I've got someone, I'll write the 3 things down that I want. Once I've achieved that, then I'll move on to another 3. It's pointless like trying to go, right, I want to do this and this and that and this. When all you need to work on is like 1 or 2 things, maybe 3 things. So she keeps hounding us every day. Can I have a look at that list? I was like, no, you've already done 1. And then she'll text us like on a daily basis saying, is it this? And I'm like, no. Is it this? No. I'll tell you when you've done all 3, and I'll show you the paperwork. So it's probably like I say, it's just having that relaxed approach as well. It's like people get. I've seen coaches in the past in the change rooms like, I need this, I need that. Have you got this? Have you got this? Have you got? You know what I mean? It's just calm it down. That's not good to the fighter itself. You know what I mean? So it's like having that, maybe having that composure as well, adding it to them. So.
I think it's quite hard to come by, though, isn't it? Because, like you say, you do get even when you watch some of the pro fights now. There's 110 instructions in that minute in the corner that some fighters get from the coaches, and you think, well, by the time you've got to the 5th point, they've already forgotten the first 3.
Yeah, of course, of course.
And I know you obviously. I did think you might have trained under him at one point, Steve Cranston. I know Steve Cranston's certainly aware of you, who's obviously another great coach up in the Northeast here, and he's exactly the same in terms of composure. When you watch him with his amateurs, you'll go to the corner, he'll give them 2 or 3 instructions, clear instructions between the rounds, and that's it. And it's very composed, and that's exactly the same way that you are. So I think it's, from a coaching perspective, it's more beneficial for it to be like that rather than kind of be one of these coaches who, rattle people's heads in the corners and start shouting loads of abuse, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I've seen, like I say, you've seen it far too many times now where it's like, you probably look at you could probably look at Chris Eubank Jr. by doing it. Like, he's just got that new coach. He was saying stuff. Then you had, is it Ronnie Davies? Ronnie Davies, isn't it?
Yeah, and his dad.
He's the other coach. He was saying stuff, and then his dad was saying stuff. That's 3 people. If all them 3 people say 3 things, how is he going to remember all of them things? Like I say, I'll probably say 3 things that I want you to do. 3. I mean, like I say, like being cool, like you got like in the changing rooms as well. That comes a little bit as well as like April's last fight at the Meadows. She was battling a chest infection for the 2 weeks previous. Mm-hmm. Just starting to get on the downhill slope on that one, and we're just about to go out, and obviously you've seen this big green snot, which obviously the mucus of the chest infection. And she went, "Oh, I'm not very well." Blah, blah. I says, "It's fine." I says, "That's normal, man." I just wiped it away, and she went from to when, "Oh, is it?" I was like, "Well, yeah, of course it is." Obviously in the back of my mind, I knew it wasn't fine because obviously I knew what she was going through. I'd hardly seen her for 2 weeks. Even though she still tried to come in and do a bit, I was just like, you can't do it. You need to have a rest in that. And like I say, you've seen this snot come down. And she was like, all right. And I was like, it's fine, man. It's normal. I used to get that all the time. But obviously, like I say, in the back of your mind, you're like, whoa, hang on a minute. This goes pear-shaped. It's because of this.
Yeah.
But like I say, going from up the height to going, well, I'll just get in there and do it then. It was just like, I see, all stems from like the change room to the ring walk. Or even change room, getting your hands down, ring walk, fight, and then back.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a skill in itself, isn't it? And I think a lot of coaches kind of look past that, and maybe it's with the experience that you've had, like you say, with the amateur background and just the kind of character you are, then that kind of lends its hand to the fighters that you've got. So just coming back onto the fighters that you've got at the moment, I know you've recently the last 2 or 3 fights that have been involved on the Matchroom card, certainly you've had Kieran Kane in your corner, who is the owner of Spennymoor Sports. Give them a plug here as well. And he's been a great kind of help towards you, towards your corners every fight that he's been involved in, hasn't he?
Yeah, Kieran's, honestly, you could ring Kieran up tomorrow and say, right, we've got a fight in, I don't know, like Spain or something, to be like, right, I'm there. Kieran's been a massive help. Like I say, when I originally started off, I had my first pro fighter was James Conlon, and I used Matt Jobs in that, and then the second one was it Lawrence? Second. I think, yeah, I'm sure Lawrence was my second one in, I think, after James. And I used Tom Binns. Tom Binns was a massive, like, he was a massive help because, like I say, he was good at what he's done. And then, like, obviously, I got in touch with Kieran, went down and got some stuff from his shop and what have you. And just, like I say, from there, we've been mates ever since. And he was like, I'd love to do cuts. So I was like, well, do your course. And he says, you can come and help me out. And obviously, done his course and that. And then I says, the only way you're going to get experience is by getting in there, because he was like, he's massive on, like, it's not like his routine. It's like he needs this, he needs that, he needs this. He's got everything down to the last T. Like, as soon as you go in that venue, he's got X, Y, Z lined up, ready to go straight away. So whatever you need, like I say, to be honest, Kieran's that good, you don't even realise he's there. Right. I only realise he's there when the fighters are actually in the round, and he's like, he's doing what you've done, what you've said to do, or he needs to step it up a bit. And you're like, I forgot you were there. Because he's, like I say, he's just that good. He just sweeps in, gets his stuff done, what he needs to do, and away you go. So yeah, like I say, we've been good friends ever since, you know. And he's got, like, there's a lot to do with tough wear, which is the pads I use, which is probably much the rival pads that I have used in the past. I couldn't fault tough wear, and I always recommend tough wear to them. I know he's got a lot to do with it, you know. And like I see them supporters, and they say, "Oh, like, do you need any pads or anything? We'll send you some through." And it's almost kind of like I do need pads, but I don't want to say it because I don't want to sound like I'm taking the mick a bit, you know what I mean? Yeah. But like I say, like if I say no, he'll send them in anyways. And but like I say, Kieran's been a massive help. He's pretty much, to be fair, we're both the same really. He's cool and calm. Again, like I say, you don't really realise that he's there until he speaks.
Yeah.
Everything that he's had to deal with, he's dealt with straight away. So yeah, but Kieran's spot on. Like I wouldn't, like I say, I wouldn't choose anyone else now.
No, well, that's it. And obviously that's the kind of, from sharing kind of training sessions with you and seeing how you operate, it's, you're almost, what you said before about being a good judge of character, you kind of know the people that you need around you. And not only that, you know the kind of people that your fighters need around you as well, don't you? So have they taken well to Kieran, and does he just kind of fit straight in with their...
Honestly, it was like he had never joined. It was like he was there from day one, and like it's like we all know each other, and it's like we've all known each other for years. You know, like when we train down where we train out of at Wall's End, it's all like we're like a big family sort of thing. So it's like kind of like if you're feeling down, you'll have Joe bouncing, come on, blah, 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 and then he'll pick your shit up. If you can't be bothered to do something one day, you'll have like Jamie Bates like that, grinding everything out, everything out in every session, and everyone picks up, everyone bounces off each other, you see. But yeah, it's been good. And like I say, people are comfortable. I mean, at the Rating Meadows again, I'll bring that back, where we had Rob Ismay making his comeback, and he had already had a scar on his lip there. That reopened straight away. Kieran bang straight away on it. And even as he said afterwards, he's like, that was spot on. That he says, I couldn't fault you. Like I say, he's been around the block. You know what I mean? He's been one of the coaches who I've looked up to since I even took my badge out, Neil Fannin. When I had literally just got my pro badge, I went down to the Stadium of Light because I was supposed to be helping out with another pro. Obviously that fell through, and Tommy Ward and Martin Ward were on the card at the time, and it was like Martin and Tommy were like, why don't you give Fano a hand in the corner? I was like, you know, like it was kind of starstruck sort of thing, because I had looked up to him and I had looked up to his fighters, and I thought, wow, you know, he's the one who you need to like try and raise your level up to be on par with. And like I say, he's absolutely fantastic in the corner when I helped him out. Like really, like Martin got cut, and he was just like, oh, he's cut. He was just like, just cool. And I was like, how can you do that? I mean, if that was me in that situation, I'd be like, oh, he's cut. But obviously, that taught us to be like, well, he's cut, so there's nothing really else he can do about it. Just get the stuff ready. And that's what Kieran's like. It's exactly the same. Like I say, we all the same in the gym and the squad or the team or whatever you want to say.
Yeah, and again, I think it shows through as well, Nick. And I think going forward, I think obviously you're the perfect guy for Joe in terms of like reining him in. So obviously, when we keep referencing Joe, I just want to mention Joe Laws is the quite larger than life character who keeps calling out Devin Haney, Conor Benn. So you know, Joe is full of his own self-confidence, but equally, he has actually got the talent to be able to do it at the top level, hasn't he?
Yeah. Well, he's been, like I say, he's boxed like some really good names in the amateurs and the ABAs and stuff. You know what I mean? He's boxed for England, and that. So he's got and he's been to one of the, well, I think the best club in Britain, because I was like I say, I was a Birtley boy myself. Birtley's the best club in Britain, at least England, that I would say. So he's got all that background of coming from that club. So he can box. He just chooses not to for some reason. But like I say, like inspiring sometimes when he's actually boxed and he hasn't went out for a big tear up. He's looked $1 million, and his dad's been there, and he's like nudged us, and he's like, why can't you do that all the time? I'm like, that's what I'm trying to get out of him.
Mhm.
And it's like I say, slowly but surely, we are getting there. How long it'll take? I don't know. I can't give you a timeline on that one. But he can box, and he's
So
got
with
fast hands, and he can bang. So
yeah, you can, and I think it's right. We've said many times before. He's got like a lot of tools, but he just kind of goes for the one, which is the Mickey Warder or Turu Gatti kind
yeah.
of frame of mind. In terms of caliber of opponent, how far do you see him going in the next few years? I know he wants, he's serious about the Devin Haney challenge, and obviously we've seen the footage of the sparring,
Yeah.
and he did get the better of Devin Haney for that sparring session. Now, as we know, Devin Haney has gone on leaps and bounds since then. Sorry, Siri's just kicking in here. Devin Haney's gone on leaps and bounds since then. He's been handed a WBC title. So he is, they're looking at him as being another protege of Floyd Mayweather. Now, in terms of that fight, it's not going to happen anytime soon. But if Joe keeps doing what he's doing, is that achievable, or do you think Joe realistically needs to look at more kind of domestic fights, such as Conor Benn in the future, and build it up from there? Because I think the hard thing with Joe being in the northeast of England, as you know, we don't really get much coverage in terms of. Not a lot of people know. We've got some great talent up here. I mean, like Lewis Ritson's leading the way at the moment, quite rightly so. We've got Josh Kelly, but obviously he trains out of Adam Booth's gym down south. But with Joe, Lawrence Oswiki, people like that, just what do you think Joe's level is that he can actually get to realistically?
Timeline
and level of opponents. Are we looking at kind of if he was to achieve British sort of championship level, would that be? Do you think he's overachieving, or do you think he can push further? Or it's a hard one. I know. I appreciate it's a hard one because obviously he's and he'll obviously be watching.
Put us on the spot, and then gonna get a sack, don't you?
No, definitely not.
To be honest, Joe, I could definitely see a British title, hands down. Definitely see a British title because he's work ethic, level of opponent. I would like before all all this this carry on went off. I was quite what's the word I'm looking for? I was quite like I can't find the word I'm looking for now. To be fair, I was quite strongly on the idea of I wanted a step, like a 2-step up in level for the Matchroom show. I wanted like at least. Well, to be fair, I even said to Joe, I says, let's see if Eddie can make the English title fight for this next one. Because like, see, I know what he can do in the gym, and I know what he can do in the ring as well. So that's what I was gonna. Like I say, even Joe will tell you yourself. I say, let's try and get the English title shot for the Matchroom show. So definitely, I would definitely say a British title. And I think with Joe, it's kind of like the borderline Ricky Hatton type stuff. He's like on the fringes of like starting of where he started with a big fan base. It's just a shame that Joe is actually in the northeast where we do get forgotten a bit. It's not until obviously recently that they've started coming back up. Obviously on the back of Lewis, and like all credit to him, he deserves everything that he's got coming for him. And I wish, like I say, I wish Lewis all the best. I hope he does get that title shot, and like I say, anyone's within a chance to win a title shot. Doesn't matter who you are, what you're doing. You've always got that dig against you, and obviously I'll be backing him all the way, 100%. So it's just a shame that like these type of fighters like Lewis, Tommy, Joe, or in the northeast, if they were in Manchester, Liverpool, London, they'd be right up there. I think Devin Haney is where you like. Don't get us wrong, Devin Haney's like a massive talent. But if he wasn't where he was, now say for instance, right, I'll flip it now. If Devin Haney was in the northeast and he come from Newcastle, in Joe Law's, is Devin Haney from Vegas? Is he Vegas?
think he's Vegas based. I think.
So if Joe Laws was Vegas based, where do you think it would be? Would you think Devin Haney would still be like WBC champion? Whatever type of title he's got now?
No.
So that's what I'm saying. It's like it's where you come. To be honest, it's where you come from to get the opportunities. Like Joe and Lewis and Joe and Tommy have had to do it the right way and have to work their way up to knock on the door, you know, and like people are going, who are these lads? You know. So, but like I say, to be honest, it's like hopefully we're getting there. We've got bags of talent in the North East, like bags and bags, and there's always gonna be guys coming through. Like obviously before the cancellation of the Olympics and that, obviously you've got the McCormacks, and you've got Cyrus Patterson, who knows Callum French, all them lads from Berkeley and that. Whether them stay up in the North East and turn pro, or they go down like say London and go with Tibbs, like majority of the GB squad do. If they stay in the North East will be a powerhouse.
I think that would be nice to see as well, wouldn't it?
It'd be massive, mate. It'd be massive. Do you know what I mean? Like I say, the lads are from the North East. They love the North East. Like I say, everyone who's in the North East wouldn't really go and live anywhere else, would they?
No, definitely.
But yeah, that would be, like I say, if they all turn pro and they all stay in the North East, it would be a massive powerhouse.
Yeah.
I mean, like I say, years ago when I was just coming up through the amateurs, I know we had like some belting amateurs in the senior Bs and that, you know, like the Buchanan brothers and all the rest of it. They had Andy McLean brothers and that. It was booming, and it's just starting to boom back up again now. But like I say, if them did, then you couldn't not come up here all the time.
Yeah.
Instead of like twice a year or something.
Yeah. And it can be achieved because if you look at things like the Ricky Burns train that was on rolling for years, you know, there was a lot of fights up in Scotland, and arguably at the time there wasn't very many. I'm not going to say top Scottish boxers. There were top Scottish boxers. It's just they weren't very mainstream, so not a lot of people knew about them. But obviously, you had the likes of Stephen Simmons, who would box on the undercards of Ricky Burns fights, and you know, and it was all based up in Scotland. So the arena, like the Metro Radio Arena, I'm refusing to call it the other one, but the Metro Radio Arena, and the Newcastle Eagles Arena, you know, there are venues up here where people can kind of box and have a good platform for Sky, MTK, anything like that, you know. So we've basically got the foundations there, Nick, haven't we? But it just needs that kind of bit more of a push and exposure. You know, we've got Lewis Ritson paving the way, quite rightly so, like we said, and making the rest of the country and arguably the world kind of sit up and take notice now. And then the next wave coming through, you know, Joe, the McCormacks, like you quite rightly said, Cyrus. The foundation is definitely there, but what we need is more coaches as well, like yourself. You know, and with all due respect to the lads like Davy Binns and Neil Fan, you know, they've been in the game for a long, long time. How much further would they want to carry on with their career? Because it's not easy. It's not easy being a coach, and you know yourself with the pain. And as you know, I gave you a hand a couple of last year, and I was going to work and I was an absolute agony, and I wasn't really doing too much. So obviously we do need fresh batches of coaches coming through who want to stay in the North East and kind of develop the skill that we've got. Would you say that was the next challenge as well, to look for that kind of talent?
Yeah, well, yeah, of course. Like you say, to be honest, you're nothing without your coach, really. I know, like I said, like people have like go on about natural talent and all the rest of it, and this, that, and the other. It's like, oh, he's got the gift from God and all the rest of it. But however, you still need a coach. You know, like a coach can see the outside more than you can.
Yeah.
I think that was evident in Lawrence's last fight. I know he was what the kid was doing, and I was telling him to do it, and he was like, I don't see that. I'm like, because I'm on the outside, I can see a little bit more than you can. It's like kind of tunnel vision. Do you know what I mean? You're looking at your phone, or you're looking at a pencil in front of you. You don't really see what's going on away from that area. But we definitely need, there's definitely scope for coaches to come through. I mean, I've just got just forced my brother into doing his second so he can come in the gym and help me out. Because like I say, I'm not like a full-time coach. I still work at Asda doing deliveries 4 days a week. So I'm like kind of in the gym 6 days, maybe it's between 5 and 6 days. So I'm in there during the day, and then comes like 3 o'clock. I go to work till about 10, 11 o'clock at Asda. Then I'm coming home and doing all my YouTube stuff and looking at the fighters and looking what I'm doing. Then I'm going to sleep, and then it's like a groundhog day. I'm doing the same thing over and over again. So I was like in the gym from like 9 until 2:30, and then going straight to work. My lass doesn't see us. Kids hardly see us. So like when I'm saying I'm going to the gym, and like to be fair, like my lass has been like spot on with me going to the gym all the time. She's had like the 1 or 2, like, oh, you got to go to the gym tonight. I'm like, yeah, because they're fighting soon. So like, all right, so. But we get to see you on Sunday night, don't we? I'm like, yeah, Sunday night, the date night off. So it's it helps when you've got someone behind you like that, because it is like a full-time thing. It's not just a case of like, oh, I'm gonna go to the gym Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It's like these fighters like that I've got the need. Like we don't do, like I say, we don't do camps. It's like we'll train, and then they'll fight on the Saturday, and they'll be back in on the Wednesday. And I'm like, aren't you going to give me a rest? They're like, no, I want to learn. I want to do this. I'm like, just give us a rest, give us a break for a week. Because it is, like I say, I broke my wrist just before Christmas, and I was still padding people when I was in a cast because I was still fighting. And I was, like I say, I was a one-man band, so it was like, it's good to have the extra help in the gym.
Yeah.
Like I say, like Adam Booth, he's got a perfect setup there, where he's got a few coaches to help him. Because like I say, they all look the same. They all look this. Looks like they're singing on the same hymn sheet. So it's good to have someone in the gym to give you a hand. However, there's just people are like, oh, I want to do it, but I don't know if I'm good enough. Or just get in and get it done. The only way you're going to get better at something is by keep doing it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which I think I told you. Yeah. I've told you on a few occasions.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's confidence. Boxing.
No, you did. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Obviously, like I've been a boxing fan for many years, Nick, and I've tried my hand various different things, but just not really found the one thing that fits. I think helping you was a great eye opener for me, because I was passionate enough to do it, but watching someone like you being able to do it and convey the message, like we were saying earlier, in such a calm fashion. And obviously you've had years of experience of that, and I'm probably a little bit like April Hunter, where I want to know everything yesterday. And then I was going back to work in my day job, and I wasn't switching off from the boxing because I wanted to know more about that particular thing. So who knows for the future for me. But yeah, it's quite right what you say in terms of it's not about what I wanted as a coach. It was about what I knew was best for the fighters, and I knew that I wasn't being able to commit to that kind of that setup all the time, which is what you kind of need. And what coaches who Adam Booth, who do need people around them in the gym, they do need that as well. Like you say, you never really get a chance to have any downtime, do you?
No. Like I say, someone said to us not long ago, being a coach is a selfless job. I'm like, what do you mean? And they're like, well, I think it was a football coach I was talking to at the time, because he's like, if the team wins, it's all the team get the thing, but if the team get beat, all the fingers get pointing to the manager. I'm like, yeah, I suppose you could say that for a coach as well. I mean, if he wins, it's like, oh, you're doing well. Oh, look at what you're doing. Blah blah blah. You are mint. But if you get beat, certainly in boxing, if you get beat, it's like, oh, is he with the right coach? Yeah. Oh, you shouldn't have been doing this. You shouldn't have been told to do that. It's just like, So yeah, you're kind of like stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah.
But if you got to have a thick skin as well.
Yeah.
It's like.
So with all the current turmoil that's going on with this insane kind of COVID lockdown, how are you finding that, and how are the fighters finding it in terms of, are they communicating with you on a daily basis? Are they keeping the weight right? Is there anything that you're doing from your side which is keeping them on track until this is all sorted out?
But like I say, I'll go back to I'll cover a little bit what, like I say, we don't do camps, so we're in there all the time. I mean, you've got to kick some of mine out the gym to have a break. You know what I mean? So I think this is it's come at the right time, but it's come at the wrong time as well, because they were gearing up for that big the big Matchroom show.
Yeah.
However, all the niggling injuries are going to get put to bed in this lockdown situation we've got. I mean, they're still ticking over. I still speak to them. I speak to some of them every day. I speak to the other ones every couple of days, and obviously they know the ones who I don't have to speak to see if they're training. Like I said, I've just said to them, I says, look, have a break. If you want to train, train. If you don't want to train, don't have to train. What people say, I mean, like probably Tony Jeffries is a perfect example. These aren't made to punch, so these need a rest as well. Now, if this didn't happen, they'd still be in there, and they probably would have boxed already. Would have been back in the gym training for the next one. So you just put your body through sort of hell and back, really. So it's kind of like, I haven't really told them what to do, but they're still sending us videos of what they are doing. Just doing the basic stuff that you can do, really. I mean, we don't all have the Ben Well Cronk. I'm probably sure you've seen it on Joe's Instagram and that way. He's got his own gym.
Yeah.
We don't all benefit from that. So what you've got a pair of trainers, you've got loads of road. But like I say, people, it's like kind of, people are that over height now, they don't even want to leave the house.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, you can't force anyone to train. I know the athletes and I know the pro athletes. However, you don't know how long this is going to go on.
Yeah.
So, like in my eyes, that's what I've said to them. If you want to train, train. If you don't want to train, don't train. It's as simple as that. There's nothing you can do. Like I say, you can't force people to go out the house. So you can get a good sweat on, you can get a good workout in the back garden, and do a little bit of footwork. All it takes is about 6 foot of space, 6 foot an area to do some good footwork with.
Yeah.
What's what you eating? I know Joe, like I say, Joe's getting down to, is it super lightweight now? Super lightweight. So he came in his last fight at 141. So he's all right. He texts us a picture every day. 147. I was 148. I was 147. I was 148. So he's all right. He lives the life. He's not all like partying and all the rest of it. So, and all the rest of them are all right as well. So
yeah,
like I say, that's what I've said to them. If they want to train, they train. If they don't, they don't. But if like I say, you can't make them go out. People are scared to go out. It's a weird situation, mate, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's not ideal.
It's not.
But like I say, it's good for them to have a little bit of a break and rest their pause a bit.
Quite rightly so, and I think that's the common kind of view from all of the promoters and all of the coaches across the country, and that really is that while it's not ideal because fighters aren't making the money and they're not getting the fight in and at the moment, it's given everyone a fair chance to reflect on, weaknesses, strengths, what needs to be done, what the goals are for the future. So when all of this blows over, we're kind of, the boxing scene gets back on track. There should be some quite naughty little fights and some hungry fighters out there, shouldn't there?
Well, like I say, people will want to make up for lost ground, won't they?
Yeah.
Because like me personally, I think at least 3 months we're going to be in this lockdown for. And I've said that to all my lot. I think you're looking at least 3 months.
Yeah.
Before the boxing starts again, the boxing's not just going to come and start straight away.
No.
Because they're going to have like proper measures in place. So everyone's going to be playing, what them probably think of playing catch up. So they want to speed things up a bit. So you probably will see some tasty fights out there, like, he's undefeated, but they haven't been out, they haven't been active, so they want to fight each other. So it should be quite tasty. But I think when we're out of this situation, I think when everything's back up and running, I think you'll probably see a fight every weekend at least.
Yeah.
And like I say, Eddie Hearn probably put on next gen shows during the week. I think you might look at that, because obviously everyone will want to make up for lost time. However, like I say, it's like kind of people who aren't working, who aren't getting paid. It's just like they'll be going into a massive amount of debt, so they'll have to come out of that. So they'll have to think about something where it's not detrimental to the fighters to make money, and it's not detrimental to people who actually still go out and enjoy themselves and put whatever this situation is in the back of their mind of it,
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it is. It's a very strange time. But I think you have got a level-headed kind of team about you. Even Joe I'm sure. I'm sure. But yeah, I've spoken to Joe the last couple of days, and obviously he said he's taking over quite nicely. He's doing the right
Yeah,
things, like you say, and you know he acts the typical Benwell lad. We know that like his heart and his passion's
yeah,
in the right place. Yeah. So, and obviously the rest of your team, you know, April, Lawrence, they've all got the right idea. So I think from your side of things, you're in a kind of better position than what some coaches might be, really.
yeah.
But again, the situation isn't ideal.
No.
Um, Looking forward to the back end of this year, who would you say is going to have the best kind of run into 2021 in terms of who's going to have the most amount of contests between the point of when we're released from being grounded up until the start of 2021? And out of those people who've got the most amount of fights, who do you think is going to come out with the most kind of praise to their name?
With regards to my fighters,
Yeah.
wow, you're probably getting me up here, aren't you?
No, they don't mind. I'm brutal. You know what I'm like.
Yeah, cool. I would say if it's a big giveaway, if she can get the fights in, it's going to be April.
Yeah.
If it's a big if she can get the fights in, like I say, it's hard to get the women over to here. I mean, like I say, I told her the other day, I says, to be honest, my ideal world would be take you on the road.
Mm-hmm.
As in, that's not me like being a journeyman. Actually going in their backyard, taking them out, coming home, having a fight, going over, I don't know, like Germany, Sweden, whatever,
Yeah.
wherever we need to go. Like I say, she's got up there, and she's got it in the heart there.
Yeah.
She can be like that way. However, if she can't get the fight in, it's going to have to be Joanna.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't really. I would look out for Tommy. Definitely look out for Tommy though.
Tommy Hodgson.
As soon as he's on the stage, he's something special. Like
Yeah.
he is something special.
I've heard a lot about him. I've heard some good things about him, but
You'll see him next year easy.
yeah.
I mean, like I say, we're just about to sign on the dotted line just before all this COVID-19 thing went off. So
Mm-hmm.
as soon as this thingy, I don't know how long it's going to take him for him to get his license, but we've got like obviously his management in place and all the rest of it. So we're just waiting for it to get lifted really, and get back to normal. But you're definitely looking at either them two. However, like I say, to be fair though, Jamie on the Glory kickboxing stage,
Yeah.
he's like within touching distance of that title shot. So
Yeah.
he's right up there. So I would say them three. Like
It's Jamie's one of those kind of diverse fighters as well, isn't he? You kind of when he gets into the boxing gym, he knows how it's just boxing. It's just boxing. It's just raw power, isn't it? And then goes back into the kickboxing world, and straight away he's adaptable like that, isn't he?
Well, like I say, but for his last fight, I mean, he was going down in sparring with Paul Daly and Darren Till and stuff like that. So he puts the effort in, he puts the graft in, he knows what needs to be done. So
yeah,
there's that up here in Wall's End as well. And he travels, like I say, like hats off to him. He travels about a good 50 to 55 minutes to get to the gym every day.
Yeah.
So he wants it.
Dedicated.
Yeah. So like I say, them three. Definitely them three.
Awesome stuff. So before I let you go, is there any plans that you've got for the rest of the weekend in this in your self-isolation, or what are you doing? Are you currently working, or are you just kind of taking a backseat at the moment and riding it out like a lot of the public?
Well, I was at work, but my 2-year-old daughter was in hospital just before Christmas. We found out she got diagnosed with a thing called neutropenia, which is it correlates to the white blood cells, which can't really fight infections that well.
Right.
She's got literally like 0 to very little white blood cells in her body. So I was at ASDA, and obviously my last sent is a picture of an NHS letter saying, "Oh, like Peggy needs to self-isolate for 12 weeks."
Right.
So ASDA was saying if anyone's got this letter, whether it's you or not, obviously you need to self-isolate as well. So obviously they've been, like you say, as they've been meant with me with my job. They said, look, you can't come in here for a minimum of 12 weeks. If your daughter's got that letter, then you're off. So it's good in a way, because I get to spend time with me 3 girls in the house, which I don't normally get to do. There's nothing I love more than spending time with a family, you know. Because like I say, I don't really get much time with them. I put like my oldest daughter, I put her through some footwork drills in the back garden, and April straight away she was like, I've never been more jealous of your oldest daughter than I have now, getting all that time on footwork with you. So it's been nice, like I say, spending time with them and picking up my other passion again is in drawing.
Yeah.
Do that at night time. So yeah, that's all I do during the day. I spend time with them, baking cakes, building like guinea pig houses and stuff like that, and then drawing the pictures that I do on a night time. So it's been nice. It's been actually nice for me to have this. Gives me my horrible joints a little rest as well from holding the pads from all them lot.
It's the simple pleasures that you sometimes take for granted, isn't it? And now you're seeing it firsthand. And I think that's the good thing about this. That's going to come out of this. But yeah,
well, I think we all can benefit from this. To be honest with you, if you take it, you know.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you very much for your time, Nick. Hopefully, like I say, I'll speak to you very soon, and hopefully the gym gets up and running soon. So again, for those who kind of want to have a bit of interest in Nick and what he does, please check out his social media as well, which is the Twitter one is it TBT?
You know
what it is. Yeah.
I think
I'll put some links in on this video. Obviously, people will know who he is once they see Joe Laws and Lawrence Oswego and Abel Hunt attached to his name. They will definitely know who you are, and that's my kind of goal, for try and make lads like yourself a bit more of a spearhead of the Northeast boxing scene, which you're already on, Nick. So
appreciate it.
Thank you very much for your time once again, and
no problem.
Hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah, I was just about to say, you have a good day.
Thanks very much, Nick.
I'll speak to you soon, mate.
Yes, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.